Hey, hello everybody, I'm Munbalance, and I had a video planned for this week, but I scrapped it because I really wasn't liking it. So I think today we're just going to kind of vibe out, and I'm going to showcase some things that I think are really cool ways of going about things in Final Fantasy XIV. Just kind of things that are either nice or satisfying or just really a good idea in general. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, honestly, the first thing I want to bring up is crafting in Final Fantasy actually does feel really nice. It's a bit of a grind to get into, but I think one of the main things that really separates Final Fantasy from a lot of other MMOs is they're not afraid to give their progression, or to give their crafters progression. You can see here that basically crafting in Final Fantasy goes all the way up to the max level, and then on top of that you have master recipes, which are the max level, but they go a little bit further. Usually when we have an MMO, you'll see that they hit the max level and then that's kind of it, or you'll hit the max level and then there's a whole lot of extra progression to do afterward. And I feel like these master recipes really go into that mentality of, hey, you know, we're at the max level, but there's still a whole lot more game that we want to make, so we have to make things that are like post max level content. And honestly, you can see this with the old expansion. You know, we have Shadowbringers already done, but you can see that they made a post level 80 set, and then look at that, more progression came out and they made another level 80 crafted set. So if you're a crafter in Final Fantasy, you're always going to have something new coming around. And recently we actually just got a bunch of new housing items, and a lot of these were added as level 90 crafting recipes. So in order to make these, you're going to need a level 90 crafter, which honestly it just feels really good. It's a crafting system that I don't think I've seen in anywhere else. Usually when you have a crafting system in an MMO, it's usually just reserved to like potions or food or some really outdated equipment that really isn't worth your time anymore. But I think Final Fantasy does a really good job of keeping the crafters up to date with the rest of the game. Now, another thing I think is really cool is Leve allowances. I really like how these are done in Final Fantasy XIV because it's honestly a really cool way to have a daily quest, but without the connotations of having to log on each day to do the quest. So the way that Leve works is that you have a certain allowance of them, and you get a certain amount of allowances every day. So you'll get 3 allowances every 12 hours. So that means that you'll have 6 of these quests to do each day. The interesting part is that these allowances will stack over time, up to 100. So if you don't feel like doing a Leve quest today, you don't have to. But if you do, you can go to the Leve quest NPC, grab yourself a Leve quest, and turn it in. Additionally, for tradecraft levies, you'll actually get more rewards if you craft something with a high quality. You can see I have 2 things here. One is high quality and one's regular. I can turn in the high quality one, and it's actually going to give me double the reward. So I'd get double the EXP, and more importantly, double the money. So this quest is going to net me a very easy 10,000 gil just from turning it in. And the balance is that, well, we only have 6 of those quests a day, and rather than forcing me to log on and do 6 of them every day, I can let them accumulate over time, which honestly feels a whole lot better, and then I can just pound them out all at the same time. I think that's really cool, and I really wish more games did dailies in this regard. Honestly, I wish Final Fantasy did their own other dailies like this. For example, there's Beast Tribe quests or Tribal quests, there's custom deliveries, and these don't stack at all. So if you don't do your 12 Beast Tribe dailies, you're just out of luck for that day. You're going to be behind. And just the same, if you don't do your 12 custom deliveries in a certain week, you're just out of luck. You don't get the rewards for that, and you can't go back and do them. But honestly, I think Leve quests just feel a whole lot better because it doesn't really force you to log on. So another thing I think is really cool that Final Fantasy does is when you have a big group of monsters, this is inevitably going to happen in an MMO where there's a group of monsters together and you want to kill them all at the same time. Instead of just using all of the sounds at the same time, it goes through the list and just kind of does like a and it feels really satisfying. And honestly, I wish more video games did this, not just MMOs, but video games in general, because it honestly feels a whole lot better, and it saves you from having your eardrums blown out by all of the effects happening at the exact same time, which usually just leads to like noise, and that doesn't feel great at all. I'm going to be quiet for a little bit in the next mob so you guys can just enjoy the noise of a big mob in Final Fantasy XIV. Now, another thing that I find really satisfying in Final Fantasy is waiting for the Spiritbond on my gear to reach 100%. And I'm not just talking about one gear, but all of it. Essentially, when you wear gear in Final Fantasy, you're going to get Spiritbond for it. When it reaches 100% Spiritbond, you can actually create materia from the gear itself. And if you have the whole set at 100%, then you can just go down the list and make materia after materia, hoping obviously for the good ones, and just being able to do this all at once just feels really nice. And I think the last satisfying thing I'm going to talk about today in Final Fantasy is collecting scythes. I've gone out of my way to collect basically every scythe in the game. I'm only missing 3 of them, and essentially it's just super hard content that I've yet to clear, but we will get there. So, honestly, one of the best parts about having access to basically every scythe in the game is that whenever I make an outfit, I usually have a scythe that goes with it. And it honestly feels really rewarding to have a scythe that just fits so perfectly with an outfit, and it was like it was meant to be. Honestly, I could talk all day about the different scythes and the adventures I went to go through to get them, but I wouldn't bore you with the details. That's something that you would tune into my Twitch stream for, which I do stream Final Fantasy on Friday, just heads up there. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and thank you guys for watching. Sorry for the unconventional video. I had an idea for a video, but it was just not coming together, so I scrapped the whole thing. And a special thanks to my Patreon supporters for being super patient with me. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and check the description where you can you can get a link and you can support the channel and prevent me from having to sell out or anything, because I don't like doing that. That's not fun. And overall, I think this makes for better videos, even if they don't always work out in the end. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.